control, for example, plays offlane, is not uncommon for him to be the top net worth in a game, even if he's playing Beastmaster. So they have to have the tools and the heroes to be able to get those pickoffs that's going to keep Liquid even or behind.
Lifestealer ban from Liquid in our first draft and an IO from Fnatic. Nothing outrageous. Do you think Liquid follow the same route purge as they've been doing, which is banning out specific heroes rather than potential meta heroes?
I feel like the tournament is going that way, with the exception of maybe Lifestealer or IO. Those are pretty commonly played by every team.
Yeah.
They give an advantageous play style, so you have to get them out of the game. But
IO is just now the most banned, by the way. Overtook Beastmaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I put that in my compendium? I think everybody's thinking that right now.
I don't think so.
I had Beastmaster 100%, but
Yeah,
actually,
I
I think Beastmaster might come back. And it's interesting that it's actually been the Lifestealer Beastmaster Open that a lot of teams, in fact, Liquid went to twice when they got Lycan and Earth Spirit banned against them yesterday. That Open is just so devastating in terms of its flexibility. I think a lot of teams have realized, though, we're going to start banning the Nakes instead of banning the Beastmaster. Most picked hero of the main event, 66% win rate, stats don't lie.
Keep trying with that one.
Every single time, man. Every single time.
All right, Earth Spirit is in the game.
Earth Spirit's in the game. Fnatic has been picking it a lot lately. They were picking the Disruptor first a lot of the time, and we have been seeing Disruptor having an enormous win rate here up on the main stage. I think over a 70% win rate, up just on the main stage, of course. But it's a support hero that's, with that type of win rate, is pretty absurd.
Yeah, just that hero is maybe even been more influential than that win rate would suggest. It's a hero that's had a lot of influence in terms of team positioning, setting up fights, has a way to stop the TP. I do like this Open, though, from Fnatic. I think that this is, they need to, especially coming out in game one, I'd like to see them be a little bit more stable. Darkseer, of course, the possibility with the Ember Spirit, and they knew Fnatic did when they drafted this way, they did these bans, they knew they were giving Liquid their liking.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a response here. You know, they did the same thing previously. When they played versus Liquid, they gave them the liking. They don't really seem to care about playing versus it.
Yep.
And the Sven, though, is the response to the Slardar, is really clever, right? You're going to have this big amp damage minus armor, Warcry on our whole team.
I think versus both of them, especially. You know, he's a tanky strength core. Lycan can't really man fight straight up 1v1 versus a Sven. If Sven gets a stun on him, especially now since we've been seeing like the rise of the Echo Saber, he can really just chunk him down in almost one swing.
And he can clear out the Necro 3, assuming he has a BKB, because he has to worry about that damage reflect. But and the movement speed as well from Warcry, it's all around very good against those two heroes.
Absolutely.
Although their Ancients can be ganked, though. That's one big thing. They can be blocked, so Sven's opportunity can be mitigated a bit. I said that last time we saw Sven picked, and Sven just killed the offlaner 6 times, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But as long as that doesn't happen, there are tools that you can use against Sven.
There are 11 heroes left in the pool that have a 100% win rate. Many of those have 1 or 2 games on. The 2 that don't are Sven, who has 5 out of 5 at this tournament, and Lich, who has 6 out of 6. Those are the 2.
Wow.
We've got a Sven in the game.
Yeah.
It's a good omen.
And it's similar, not exact, but similar to what Fnatic beat Liquid with previously.
Right.
They picked the Darkseer and Kunkka combo. So this is kind of another Wombo combo type lineup that they're building for.
I like this one a lot better than an early Kunkka, though, or a Kunkka at all, because Kunkka is just so countered by a lot of things.
Yeah.
If you miss the initiation, it's over. Glimmer Cape counters the hero a lot. If you miss your boat, I mean, it's so easy to miss boat. If you're not initiating from range, it's over. The damage isn't there, and sometimes the rum isn't enough. So.
And I actually have to correct myself. They did end up losing that game versus
the
Liquid
with
the Kunkka mid, but they did put up a huge fight. It ended up going over 50 minutes, which is, you know, a very formidable defense.
Well, but the important thing, and I think you brought this up earlier, was that this is a trend. In all 3 games in those group stage, they gave Liquid their liking, and they were able to trade against it pound for pound.
Yep. See if it pays off this time, though. We know Matu really loves playing that hero. With his interview especially, he really focused on that.
And I love the little things that he does on this hero. He uses his wolves so efficiently. He'll basically often have one wolf following around the initiator from the other team. It just doesn't, often you'll see him farming the jungle with his hero solo just so he can use those wolves for scouting. Really neat, creative ways that he finds to use that hero.
Yeah, we do see, like we were talking about, Disruptor is
it's
a very
block pick too.
Yeah, it's a block pick, and it's such a good hero that's been coming out on this main stage. So I'm no surprise to see Liquid pick it up, even though it's a little bit of a change up from what they usually draft.
It's so good here too. Like I love the teamfight mobility they're going to have with Glimpse and Slardar. They can leap in, initiate, they can pull somebody back, kill them while Slar goes on the back lane. And it's really good in lane against Darkseer, because Darkseer's Surge is essentially worthless now. You just follow him, send him back, and a couple right clicks and you should be able to kill him.
Super good in lane versus Darkseer, but also they have multiple forms of giving that opportunity for the glimpse. They have the amplified damage, like Alan was pointing out as well. They have the wolves to give the vision constantly, so it just makes the Disruptor's life infinitely easier.
Yeah, and this is really the Witch Doctor pick. This has really been an SEA staple. Both Dubu and 343, their Witch Doctor play is incredibly consistent. They've gone away from it, as we mentioned earlier, recently picking the Disruptor a little bit more often, but I think they're perfectly comfortable going back to it.
Now, Liquid picking up their, probably saving their Fata hero for last, unless they want to.
DP is still on the table.
Last, which,
so is Spirit.
Yeah. But
oh, I didn't even.
Yeah, that's a really good point there. Spirit
really
for Jerax is still there, and it's a very good one this game.
Very good right now. Silence against Darkseer, Silence against Witch Doctor, Boulder Smash against both of those is quite good too.
Are you surprised they've left that one there?
I'm
Rather
a little
than
bit.
take the Tusk?
Yeah. Jerax Tusk, obviously, we haven't seen as much of it recently,
but still great.
Yeah.
But you'd probably fancy you'd want to play against the Tusk rather than the Earth Spirit here, wouldn't you?
I think they've got to have left that in intentionally.
I think
because they've got an answer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I really like.
Well, they're going to go somewhere else anyway.
I like the Tusk ban though, because they're looking at like a type of wombo combo lineup with the Darkseer Sven, so that's one hero that can really mess up everything, because say you do get a 3 or 4 man like Stormhammer, this Tusk can just grab everybody into the snowball and completely ruin your initiation.
Yeah, could be the same with Cask as well.
Yeah.
If you just get lucky and get 2 heroes and Sven happens to have God Strength on and is nearby, that could be the end of the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is another reason that I really love Jerax's playstyle, that he can turn greedy heroes into aggressive heroes.
Yeah.
You really have this guessing game as Fnatic right now. Is Jerax going to play greedy, take that Doom into the jungle, or is he going to focus on more of those early game rotations?
It is a big change-up, though. They haven't picked the Doom yet at all. And now we do have Fnatic picking up the Invoker. Wow. And do you think that would be the Exort or the Quaswex? It's really good Quaswex versus Liquid lineup.
I think I would rather see Exort in
probably
this
rather
game.
Exort this game, yeah.
Yeah, they would have pretty weak offense otherwise.
Yeah, they'd
Especially
be pretty
in
much
laning.
just relying on the Sven.
Yeah.
And of course, Sunstrike is a lot easier to land with Sven because he does have a long duration stun, and it helps out the lanes a lot more.
Do you ban the Bounty Hunter as Liquid here? Is that a threat for Fnatic to take 5?
Depends what mid hero they pick.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Bounty Hunter can go really badly, though, if Fnatic does want to go for it. You are versus a Lycan, so you can get pushed down quite heavily.
Sure.
But at the same time, it can cause havoc amongst the lanes, so we might see them ban it out.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to retain the option of running that Doom a little bit more greedily in the jungle.
Yeah.
The Bounty Hunter can
that as
really play havoc with that. But they are going to go ahead. Liquid are going to ban the Earth Spirit themselves.
I think we were talking about how when they ban the Earth Spirit, they actually tend to win most of the time as well, which is pretty peculiar.
It was definitely the right time. I mean, they already grabbed Doom, they have Slardar. They would have to do 4-position Slardar if they wanted to pick another support, so that was definitely the best hero left over. Iron Shell with Earth Spirit in their early game, I'm almost surprised they didn't pick it earlier.
I just really want to see Fnatic YOLO Enigma pick here. I don't know that it would be the best pick, but I think Liquid goes DP for their final pick or Dragonite, but they're going to go ahead and go Axe. Okay.
So this is something that they played versus Lycan previously. They picked the Axe, and it's very good versus Lycan. It used to be just as good because of the physical damage, and it's just obnoxious for Lycan to deal with.
Yeah.
But
and there's the DP.
There's the DP like we were talking about. So nothing too out of the ordinary from Liquid except for the Doom.
Slightly different.
Purge? Really even draft.
What do you think?
I think I like Liquid's draft better. They've got all their comfort heroes, and it's Crow playing Doom. I think it'll be fine. So I think Liquid has a better draft here.
Okay.
I think I'm going to take Liquid, but boy, I think Fnatic have given themselves a pretty good chance to win with this draft.
I'm going to have to go with Liquid as well. Responding with Axe to respond to the Doom greediness, I think it's a decent idea, but I just, it's a Matu doggy. You have to go for the Matu doggy.
Okay, thank you to all 3 of our panelists. We'll hear from them at the end of the first game. But now let's go over to our commentary team. For this one, we have Gods and Capitalist.
You couldn't ask for a better match to close out day number 4, as you have the #1 ranked team in the world, Team Liquid, facing up against crowd favorite Fnatic. Gods, who's going to be cheering at the end of this series?
I mean, we're going to know. If Fnatic come out on top, you'll hear it, but Liquid, a very tough opponent for them. This is the team people expected to kind of cruise through the winner bracket. They dropped down, but this is a tough series. It's a rematch from the group stage. It was a 2-1 series. Fnatic, they've kind of prepared something here, it looks like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit into game number 1.
Fnatic versus Team Liquid.
So it is a signature Team Liquid overwhelming style of push from them, facing up against Fnatic's choice of being able to get a lot of team fight. You've got a little bit of wombo combo there with the Darkseer and the Sven combined up with the Invoker, but it's the last pick, DJ's Axe, that is probably the most interesting linchpin of this lineup. Choosing to go from that greedy 4 position, we were talking about it before, it feels like a pretty decent pick. I'm just concerned that Liquid are just going to get just enough in the laning phase and start 5-manning and taking objectives real early.
And Liquid have kind of put together a draft where Fnatic, they make a mistake come mid-game time, you lose a lot. You're going to lose towers, Roshan, objectives, and if you ever lose a fight near your base, that could just be a lane of rags. That's the beauty of this Lycan plus Death Prophet draft, is that you can play slightly from behind. All you're waiting for is that one big opening.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the philosophy of Liquid, it really seems that this team is definitely defined by their pressure on objectives. They're always looking to try and force fights on the enemy side of the base. That way they can turn one fight into an objective, or in a lineup like this, 2 or 3 objectives with so much pushing power behind them.
And what we saw out of Fnatic yesterday against was Newbie is that they sometimes are prone to those like late game decision making faults, which is kind of what led to just a sudden loss in game number 2, for example. But Fnatic, they've got to really step up their game here if they want to take down a draft like this from Liquid.
All right, so our lanes are going to be broken down here. We've got the Darkseer facing up against a Disruptor and Lycan at the top lane. Ohio already going to feel some pressure from Jerix. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we've got mid-one's Invoker up against Fada's Death Prophet, and then Mind Control as the Slardar is sitting there in the bottom lane up against 343 and Mushi. So both offlaners going to feel some pressure, but should still be able to pick up a moderate amount of experience. Gods, how do you expect the mid lane to unfold?
For specifically the mid lane, mid one very good mechanically, but Fate, he's on a Death Prophet, Spirit Siphon, just one of those spells, which means you're never going to actually lose your lane against Invokers. So should be a bit of a farm trade. The big question is going to come from the rotations. So does someone like a Doom make an early smoke gank towards mid lane? If he can get like a useful creep, if he can find a nice 2-minute rune, there is potential for that Kuroki pressure on mid.
Yeah, while the similarities are there between our two offlaners, the starkest difference is going to be between our 4 positions. Axe is much more likely to spend his time full on trying to farm away, while Kuro, obviously on the Doom, is going to be trying to pressure the Axe and might just be able to find it here. DJ, he's left with only 75 HP. He's going to try and juke his way through the trees. Eats a tango. Kuro turns the wrong direction and might not be able to get him in time. Chases all the way right into the tier 3 area, but won't be able to pick up that kill, and may just have to suffice with just a pick up on that Hellbear. Now picks up his level 2, but DJ, he's already got the healing salve up. A man fight between the two, but mid one, he's going to make it a 2-for-1 as now he comes in. The Sunstrike over the top, and this could be our first blood as DJ cleans through with his axe.
Great heads-up play from DJ to turn that around with the salve. And Kuro, biggest issue for him is that he found such a kind of worthless creep. He had the armor aura from the tornado creep, which doesn't really help that aggressive rotation. He was also level 1, so it's a very aggressive play from Kuro. He's mostly just trying to find some XP leaks there, and in the end he gets overextend, very much so.
Yeah, if only he had like maybe even a Satyr Blast could have been enough to finish off the Axe as soon as he found that hero, but very clearly a bit too greedy as he dives in too deep mid one, able to punish that with the help of DJ. So that will obviously lean things a little bit more towards the favor of Invoker as he gets some of that experience. Fauna still doing well for himself in the mid lane, and CS though 14-3, well ahead of mid one at this point. It seems like he's really seeing the advantage he's got in his hands. He's pushing forward, sometimes past the creep wave, ready to threaten with that Spirit Siphon.
Does feel like Mushi not farming perhaps as well as he should be in this safe lane. He's a good 5 CS behind the Lycan. Still early days, but this is just kind of unexpectedly well-played lane coming out from Mind Control. Normally Witch Doctor, one of those hard to play against heroes, but 343 not going for any points in the Maledict, which is often that zoning tool that we see. out of Witch Doctors against Sladas and just Tide Hunters, whatever tanky melee offlaners you may want to run. And as a result, Sladas got a lot out of this bottom lane.
Kuro looking for a chance at redemption here in the mid lane. Is going to try and rotate in with his Infernal Blade and now has a Shockwave from the Satyr he's eaten earlier. See whether or not it's successful. Wave is going to push into the tower. Kuro still not feeling comfortable with this position. He's going to bide his time. Meanwhile, the Axe at the top lane, he's going to be able to find a successful rotation. Jerix is the easy pickup with the Ion Shell as DJ mans forward. Now mid one is going to be gone on. The Satyr Blast is going to come through. Kuro picks up the kill there, so the trade-off not fully worth it for Fnatic, as the Invoker definitely the much higher priority hero between the two.
Yeah, we're seeing early pressure from the Axe, much like the Doom, and I think this is Fnatic's way of trying to match the aggression coming out from Kuro's Doom by just getting DJ active and involved. But he needs to be careful, he's very low up top.
Yeah, he's going to be hit by this one. He's going to be blocked in by the kinetic field, and a couple of right clicks will finish him off. Ohio's going to come through, but won't be able to punish with that Ion Shell. So DJ a little bit too far forward there. Still able to finish off his Tranquil Boots, though, and that will help speed along his jungle. Kuro, similar story, though that's really just to help his roaming potential as he speeds around the map. Is going to be spotted out by this ward, though.
Yeah, this Invoker start is got to be very worrying for Fnatic. The Doom pressure combined with just Fata completely destroying him in last hits. 26 CS to 11. Mid one's getting wrecked by Fata here, and
a big difference between the four positions. Again, DJ can't really pressure a Death Prophet like this, but he can continue to try and pressure this top lane. He's going in big time. The Sunstrike over the top. That'll finish off Jerix, giving mid one some much needed golden experience, and now they start cutting the creep wave. Matumba Man is fighting back against Ohio, but now he's going to have so much of his lane taken away from him if it starts pushing into the tower, and he's forced to be dove by both these two tanky heroes of Fnatic.
I like this adjustment from mid one at mid. He's got a point in Wex, so he can go into Ghost Walk.
Mid one going to be caught again here. Is going to be hit by the Infernal Blade, slowed down. The Sunstrike right in front of the tier 2, and Kuro hit by that one is taken out. Beautiful paralyzing cast from 343. Another Spirit Siphon will go down, and 343 may actually get taken out by Fata, who right-clicks him towards the end. 4-3 now as they lose support for support in the mid lane, but they really wanted to be able to pick up that Invoker kill.
Beautiful rotation from 343 with the TP in, 2 points in the cast, locking them down. It looked like a scenario where mid one should have just gone into the Ghost Walk, but he knew the TP was coming. He had the infused raindrops to give him that extra bit of sustain, and the aggressive Cold Snap Sunstrike under a tower just destroyed Kuro TPing in, and that really helped mid one out.
DJ again blocked in, but it's going to be a while until, oh, never mind, Matumba's already got his level 6, so he will be able to get here in time. DJ actually canceling his TP, and that just might cost him his life. He goes for the call, but Fata's going to meet him inside the river, finish him off immediately, taking off that Battle Hunger.
DJ, very aggressive play in this top lane. He's died twice now up here. He needs to be careful that he does maintain some sort of item progression, not just prioritize the pressure that he's trying to put on this lane. Lycan's been completely free farming away. Matumba Man's had no problem whatsoever dealing with this dual lane out of the Axe and Darkseer, so I think for DJ it's time to perhaps settle down, farm up the Blink Dagger, and just prioritize creating space a bit less and just getting your own actual items going.
Yeah, it seems like he kind of feels like this pressure of like, oh, mid one, I can't really help him in the mid lane. The only thing I can do, right, is go for those side lanes and maybe set up Sunstrike kills, but that is clearly turning against Fnatic as Liquid are able to play defensively enough around it. And we've seen the way that like Axes can boost through the jungle so damn quickly. There is no real need for DJ to purely sit inside of the lanes, but he's going to try again here in the bottom lane, see if this is a bit more successful. They're going to catch Mind Control potentially, come out with a paralyzing cast. We'll be able to follow this one up with a call. Mind Control hit by the Sunstrike, not quite, but still a Stormbolt will follow this up, and Witch Doctor's the one to pick up the last hit.
Sunstrike would have been the ideal scenario for that kill with mid one behind the Death Prophet, but still a kill on a very high level Slider. This Slider's managed to hit level 7 in the off lane. Hasn't really been pressured that much by the Fnatic dual lane, but Mushi starting to rack up a decent amount of farm, and once he gets that Helm of the Dominator going and starts stacking Ancients, that's where Liquid are going to have to constantly keep vision of that area and apply pressure to prevent Mushi getting out of control in terms of his farm.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important for them to be able to take that tier 1 tower in the offlane as quick as possible. You could already see Jarex and Matumba Man trying to go for these objectives, but will be repelled as both DJ and 343 going to come in. Immediate glimpse back from the Witch Doctor, only able to get off that paralyzing cask, but DJ alone can defend the tier 1. Oh god, Strength going to be activated here. They're going to go for mind control, see if it's going to be enough stun time. They already get off the Centaur stun, the follow-up Slithering Crush, and a nice save there from Kuro.
They didn't communicate. The cast was still on cooldown from top lane. They go in, and I think Mushi didn't quite realize that 343 didn't have a follow-up stun. If they have a caster, that's a very easy kill for them, but they weren't quite ready to go in, and mind control tanking up infused range ops. We're seeing this item all across your core heroes, makes everyone just that little bit tankier in the early game, and does force out rotations bottom from Liquid, so it gives mid one a bit of room to grow in mid lane, but until he gets that Midas, he is going to be playing from behind the Fata's Death Prophet.
Yeah, speaking of him, even though he had to rotate to the bottom lane due to some aggression from Fnatic, he's still keeping top of the net worth chart, and will be able to potentially see him rotate to a side lane just to be able to take an objective sometime soon. Most of the time, one of the big advantages of Death Prophet is a mid laner. He ever goes away, you can easily take that tier 1 mid, but in this case, the Invoker is pretty happy to just sit farming between the lane and the neutrals.
The most, I think, impressive part about Kuro's early game plays, he's gotten these 2 very deep Observer wards in the Fnatic jungle, and these spot out and scout a lot because they will be looking to start stacking these Ancients soon. The ward over by the Secret Shot reveals that, and they're spending a lot of time using the jungle camps near the mid lane, be it for the Invoker, the Axe, so Liquid can really keep tabs of the rotations out of Fnatic using these 2 wards, and it helps them find kills when they go for smoke plays like this.
Yeah, 10 minutes in, that top lane is decently pushed in. Same goes for mid, so it could be that Liquid might be able to get the successful rotation out. Meanwhile, Fato's already going on to the Axe, will be able to catch DJ out. The right clicks are going to be enough, but back to bottom lane. Mushi going to be caught in the kinetic field, won't be able to escape from this gank, it seems, and Liquid can easily turn this into +1 as 343. He's also going to go down as the amplified damage follows his movements all the way through the trees. And he has real hope of escape. The only thing he can hope to do is stall up Liquid's push into the tier 1 tower, but mid one may still end up going down. His spot as Exodus is not quite out yet, but he does manage to get the Ghost Walk at the last second.
Everything about that gank just so good. They put themselves in a position to get a tier 1 tower.
He knows he only needs a few more seconds for the rest of Fnatic to be back, but now he's been doomed up. DJ's here, but can't get the call up in time, and now his ally's already dead. He's been glimpsed back to base.
When you dive a tower like that and you've got a Disruptor Glimpse to back you up, you feel so safe knowing that that follow-up, that respawn from the Axe isn't going to be something that can punish you. And Fnatic getting overrun at both bottom lane and even to some extent mid. Fata hasn't even had to go with his team. He gets a solo kill with the Exorcism, zones mid one out from the middle lane, and you make that rotation bottom and find the kills. You have that guaranteed follow-up tier 1 tower. You're also not even trading it for a tier 1 mid. Mid 1 sees the 4 heroes bottom. It's like, okay, time to pressure mid. That's like the counterplay when your team gets smoking like that. But Fata's already there, still with Exorcism up, ready to defend it. Hitting level 11 now. Fata is just getting out of control.
2-man smoke gank here from 343 and DJ. Matumba Man may be caught here. The Wolves trying to do some body blocking, and DJ, as soon as he sees that Slardar with the amplified damage, he immediately backs away, not wanting to take this man fight anymore.
Yeah, Fnatic are just going to have to slow things down a lot, play the kind of farm reactionary game, and that's something Liquid have the right tools to punish. They can fight very well around the Exorcism, they can take objectives, take Roshan, so if you're going to be avoiding Liquid, well, they'll be taking objectives.
One of the dangerous things is, again, the aggressive vision laid down by Liquid. It's going to be scouting out a lot of what Fnatic are going to be doing in the jungle now. Fnatic do have the right defensive wards around their Radiant jungle to try and protect it, but still, losing that tier 1 is going to make it a bit difficult to stop these invasions, as once again, you're going to see Jarex pop on through here and try and see if he can catch somebody out. Goes for a counter ward, making sure that Fnatic don't have vision here, but either way, not going to be the case.
Fnatic still looking for their level 6 on Witch Doctor. They're struggling across the board right now as DJ works towards his Blink Dagger. It just feels like everything on Fnatic's side is just being delayed a bit. The Helm of the Dominator timing for Sven. Normally you see Sven having farmed his first Ancient stacks by around the kind of 10 to 12 minute mark, and Mushi, he's got it there, he can go for it soon, but it's very dangerous to do so because of how poorly the laning stage has gone. They kind of have to recognize that if Liquid come in, win a fight with the Exorcism, they can actually clean up and steal those Ancients with Exorcism, with Lycan, the sustain that he provides, very risky for Fnatic to look to take that Ancient stack or even really take any kind of a fight until they finish off the Blink Dagger at bare minimum on DJ.
Nice play there from 343, finding one of the aggressive wards just laid out by Jarek. If you were in Fnatic's position, which would you rather see here? Would you rather see them try and protect that Radiant jungle, or would you rather see them go offensive and maybe invade the Dire jungle and go for a tier 1 themselves?
Going for the tier 1 top is really something they can only do as a trade. I think they have to react a lot to what Liquid are doing, which is going to be taking back control of your own jungle through de-warding. You can see they've already put down 2 sentries. There's still 1 ward left there, but you want to deny vision from Liquid to kind of regain control over your own jungle and make it harder for Liquid to keep finding these kills, to keep finding these objectives.
Well, might be that a pickoff from this fresh Blink Dagger of DJ could actually lead Fnatic into taking some control of their own destiny. 3-man smoking. They're going to go for the double ion shell blink initiation. See if they could just blow up one and perhaps turn this into a tier 1 mid push as well. But Liquid are already rotating 2 supports behind Fada, but it may not matter. First damage is easily going to overwhelm Fada. Jarex, he was quick on the static storm, but it doesn't matter. 4 heroes take out Fada and will now push into the mid tier 1.
Yeah, they did not mess around. The Meteor and the Death Ward committed for that, but with good reason. That is such an important kill for them to be getting. It may not secure them this tier 1 tower with Liquid having heroes there, but Static Storm down and still 25 seconds without Death Prophet.
Yeah,
this will be the tier 1 both top and mid.
Yeah, this is perfect. We saw Liquid do a similar thing about 5 minutes ago, but Fnatic able to respond now at the 15-minute mark by being able to push down both tier 1 towers. Attempted the deny, not quite good enough. Mid one jukes them out there and will secure the last hit with a lowly Fork Spirit.
I mean, all it took was 1 smoke gank with the Axe Blink on a Death Prophet to turn this game around. It gets them 2 towers and a kill, and that early game advantage from Liquid has been entirely negated off of that. This is one of the perhaps biggest weaknesses with the Liquid draft. I like their draft, don't get me wrong, but they don't have that defensive save hero. When you're running a Death Prophet, often you see this paired up with like a Dazzle, even Oracles, Tusk.
Vengeful Spirit, yeah.
Yeah, this is a big reason why the Tusk was banned, but not the Earth Spirit. I mean, I guess by that point you didn't know a Death Prophet was in the pool, but having a defensive save hero when you've got a Death Prophet on your team or you've got a high-value mid-player like Fata is so important, and there's nothing to actually save or protect Fata.
Ohio. Oh, don't tell me he's going to be able to get away from that one. Nice. Very unlucky there from Liquid as they smoke through and get popped on. Ohio is holding hard right side. Wasn't even in the side shop.
With them revealing bottom, this means Mushi knows it's safe for him to farm the Ancient stack. Getting away with this uncontested.
And that healthy jump up in gold. As he cleaves through the Ancients, Liquid are still going to try and take an objective here. They immediately start going for Roshan. Fnatic, we're hearing a lot of cheers right now, but they may not know exactly why. They're pushing in both mid and the top lane at the same time. They may even know about this Roshan and try and just say, okay, it's better for us to trade off at this point, since Liquid are hitting a decent peak with Fada being so large on that level 2 exorcism.
After the Darkseer TP out from bottom, they just didn't have the map vision around that area. They took the 2 towers, which gave them access to the Dire jungle. Now that they've won that one fight, this is a stage where it's like, okay, we took 2 towers, we found our pickoff, we hit our item time, now we want to take over the enemy jungle. We've gone through and weathered the storm of the Liquid early game, and Fnatic's draft matches up incredibly well. The burst damage from both Sven as well as Invoker is amazing against Death Prophet. You kind of have to go BKB against Invoker, but then you've got the Mushi physical damage to tear through the BKB.
And Liquid almost too slow. They do have the Glyph actually stalling things up enough that they will be able to get the potential initiation. Mind Control leading the way here, but look at Mushi. He's looking to be able to make a Quelling Plate initiation perhaps. Mid one is going to be caught, glimpsed back to the Static Storm, and Mushi realizes, no. Can't fight that one. Everyone else of Fnatic will be able to escape DJ. Just on the skin of his very teeth. Mind Control just half a second too late with the Slithering Crush.
Yeah, nice catch from Liquid. This is why Disruptor has just been so influential throughout this main event and why it has been such a high priority support pick. It forces a fight, and it means once you engage, you can't just get out.
Jump in on Ohio. Looks like they're still hoping to be able to get a glimpse play here with the amplified damage, but he's not close enough. And either way, that pick off in the top lane, it was good for Liquid, but at least Fnatic are getting something out of it. Immediately, they had DJ pushing out the bottom lane. He's going to force someone from Liquid to defend that tier 1. And they're actually getting, that's an impressive thing. Liquid is a team that prioritizes map control, prioritizes pushing out waves to be able to get information, but it's actually Fnatic who have been holding more of that control than Liquid.
I mean, so much goes back to that initial Axe pick off mid. Up until that point, Liquid had complete map control of the Dire Ancients, of the entire, the Radiant Ancients, as well as the entire Radiant jungle, and that vision has been lost since Liquid had been put on the back foot. Sure, you take an Aegis, but I think in terms of the big picture, you've lost complete map control. You're getting out farmed now to some extent, and the way this game's going to progress is going to look very good for Fnatic. Sven in a game like this against multiple melee cores, a Doom is just going to shine.
Yeah, certainly. Even this one little play, you saw 3 heroes up here in the top lane, like Mushi's just taking away the Dire jungle, purely farming that, doesn't even show himself in the top lane. Lets it push forward because he knows Liquid are so scared. They're just sitting around the mid lane constantly because they have such good aggressive vision from Fnatic. They know they can play a game like this where they just sit pretty defensively, farm up much more efficiently at this point than Liquid are, or have been for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
And that's part of the beauty of this early Blink pickup from Mushi. Doesn't go straight into the BKB or even the SMY, just has a farming Yasha, and he knows that the threat of his Blink initiation with Godstring is brutal.
Yeah, you can see the Blink initiation from DJ here. Matumba Man's going to get popped just like that. There goes the Aegis, but still, they do have the glimpse back. DJ going to be pulled back into play as Mind Control should be able to finish him off. Matumba Man now pops open for the vacuum into the Meteor Blast, and that pops Kuro. He gets taken out. Matumba Man trying to challenge, but he's going to get popped with the paralyzing cast. Good slithering crush, and actually allows Matumba Man to be able to make the escape away. Ohio has been doomed up. Fada's right in the middle of everyone saying, hit me! He's got all the exorcism damage to be able to take out Fnatic one by one. And they're going to look for a little bit more. Mid-1 does manage to get off his Ghost Walk in time. Pulled back into the counter. Gets off the old Scepter, but now it's going to be Liquid surrounding him, able to take him out. That's going to be a full wipe as Liquid take control back by forcing the ultimate team fight in mid.
Yeah, Mushi goes in from the high ground with Godstring, but they needed to prioritize killing Fata more. As soon as he blinked in, he got thrown up in the air by a Fata Yules. It was fantastic Death Prophet play out of Fata. And without the burst damage onto the Death Prophet, I mean, Fata just reigned supreme. They didn't have the tools to deal with him, and at that point they just kind of overcommitted. The Fnatic's view on that fight is like, okay, we get a free pickoff on the Aegis, but it's never a free pickoff when you're versing Disruptor. Once you're committed, you're going to get caught. You're going to get pulled back in by the Glimpse, and at that point Liquid had all the tools to punish Fnatic's aggression.
It seems Fnatic, who earlier in the tournament we saw in series them prioritizing Disruptor first, and maybe we're seeing them actually getting a taste of their own medicine here in this matchup against Liquid. 7-14, 21 minutes in. Our metrics still looking okay for Fnatic. It hasn't gotten too far out of control with about 2 or 3K lead for Liquid, but nothing that can't be overcome, especially with this Ancient stacking. As you can see, again, Mushi takes the time, clear out one of those wolves while finishing up that Ancient stack.
He's going to complete the SMY. Still a very important game for him to get a BKB, I feel. Just so you don't get Yulesed up in the air, Infernal Blades, Disruptor, Slaughter Crushes. There's so much control on the side of Liquid. Even things like Necrobooks burning your mana pool can be very annoying to deal with. And you want to be able to kill off that Necrobook, so you need to have the magic immunity. But
yeah, we talked about the fact that Fada doesn't have a saving hero, and this means he has all the more incentive to sit way far in the back, which means you can't rely on Fnatic's other heroes like DJ Zax to make a clean initiation where the Sven's able to go in uninterrupted. Mid-1 gets popped just like that. DJ hoping to be able to save him, can't quite get there in time, and now he's going to be caught, it looks like, as Matumba Man continues to go for the kill with just the Necronomicons, and will get the Doom onto Mushi, so no counter initiation there, but Ohio managed to get off the mech. Everyone from Fnatic looking okay, but now the Slithering Crush comes on to DJ. Ohio does manage to get past the tier 2 tower, but DJ is going to be the one pursued out. Paralyzing Cast will slow down Liquid enough, it seems, that they are going to be forced back. Still no response from Fnatic, and that all comes down to Kuro getting the Doom off on Mushi, made sure that there was no potential from any kind of counter-offensive play from Fnatic in that fight.
yeah, Liquid are so close to getting multiple follow-up kills there with the Glimpse. They just couldn't quite burst anyone down. The Axe tanky enough to survive through it all. DJ now with a completed Vanguard, so Good news for Fnatic is it's just the one loss on mid-one's Invoker, but we're seeing anytime he gets jumped, he just gets completely torn apart. He has no real defensive capabilities. He's still very underfarmed and squishy at this stage of the game.
We are still looking at two heroes that, if you want to look at just purely the objective of these two teams, right? You're looking at an Axe as well as an Invoker who has a Midas. Those are pretty farm-heavy heroes that are just going to get stronger as they go into the mid-game. While Liquid, it's not to say that they're going to stall out by any means, but they have reached a certain kind of peak with that Necrobook 3 and building into the AC on Matumba Men. They want to be able to take these tier 2s out of commission from Fnatic and haven't been able to just yet.
Yeah, like a not really hero known to scale well past the mid game. He's very much a, we've got Aegis, we've taken all the outer towers, now let's push high ground and win the game by 30, 40 minutes. So if Fnatic can weather the storm and trade evenly during this stage of the game, their late game's looking much stronger. You've got the Invoker, the Sven, even a hero like Darkseid who's so good at defending high ground, he'll scale well into the late game because this, like an AC, you hit him with a wall, you're stealing these auras. You've got a free Assault Crest for your team. So having a Darkseid means that Fnatic are just going to get better and better throughout this game, but it's that the possible punish that can come from Liquid. You lose one fight, you've lost your high ground. So Fnatic have to play flawlessly to get to that late game stage.
Yeah, these next 10 minutes are going to be of particular importance to Fnatic. They've done well for the first 20 to 25 to hold this game close, but we've reached that danger territory. Liquid are going to go from taking objectives. They even have another Roshan coming up soon. We'll see whether or not Fnatic are going to go for the split push play or try and contest in the next few minutes. Right now, they are doing a nice job pushing out that top lane as well as mid, forcing Liquid back, unable to take the tier 2 at the bottom lane. So Fnatic, just a small tactical play there of being able to stop a push before it even happens from Liquid by pushing out the side lanes.
Chasing up top, mind controls initiation. Gonna catch 343, just a Witch Doctor if they want to just abandon him. It looks like that may be the call.
Paralyzing cast, gonna TP out. 343 he's got the amplify damage on him, so an easy glimpse for Jarex. But I think that was very important, the discipline there from Fnatic to not try and jump that, to not try and save the Witch Doctor. Just give him up in a play like that. A pickoff doesn't mean much, especially like a Witch Doctor. Liquid need a whole lot more if they want to be able to take control of this game.
It was kind of funny because it looked like Liquid were almost unsure themselves, like, do we really want to go for this? They stopped hitting the Witch Doctor because they were suddenly like, wait, is this 5 Fnatic heroes? Liquid didn't have their whole team up there. Oh, Mushi blink over to the side. He's actually going to go for Jarex. They will be able to pop him immediately.
Ohio throws out the vacuum wall. Now they're both going to try and escape with ults used. Mushi still got the blink dagger and will be able to TP out, but it's Ohio who's going to be caught there, unable to get his TP off. He does have a blink dagger up in a second and will be able to make the escape. Mind control and hot pursuit, though, does have a force staff as well as a blink himself. Will be able to catch him again off the slithering crush. They've got the Infernal Blade as well, and Ohio knows it. He's done for, so he throws the Ion Shell onto the creep. But look at what Fnatic are doing. They immediately start pushing out the mid. Midwan does what he can, and then Ghost walks himself away. Liquid may need some dust or some gems if they hope to be able to. Necrobooks.
Not going to find mid one who's made it all the way to the top lane, so.
They do need to try and punish this Invoker at least once for a play like that. Make him a little bit more scared.
Liquid aren't quite keeping these lanes pushed out. Constantly we're seeing, like, be it mid one or Mushi just split pushing lanes. Liquid getting very close to finding these key pickoffs. Finding out Darkseid there isn't really the ideal outcome for Liquid. They want to get that Mushi Sven. He just happened to, almost by sheer luck, blink away from Slada's initiation because he was going on Jarex, but Fnatic getting farm out of the map, pressuring the tier 2 mid, and the Darkseid for Disruptor exchange is actually kind of favorable for Fnatic just because they got so much elsewhere on the map while it was happening.
Right. There's the BKB that you wanted to see from Mushi. We'll also have a Crimson Guard on DJs. Those are pretty big pickups, actually. The damage reduction, really helpful against some of this minus armor, as well as a lot of the summons that Lycan's going to be thrown around between the Wolves and the Necrobook. And I like their choice to group up at this point in time. They can contest Liquid in a team fight, and it's right around Roshan being up as well. So this actually coincides rather well. Fnatic hitting a timing that is perfect if they can get the right kind of initiation in this next one. And unfortunately, they are being scouted out. Liquid are setting up here by 5-man smoking through the lane, wrapping through. Fnatic know what's going on, though. They're going to run into 3-4-3. That's our free pickoff. Let's see what Fnatic do from here. They're actually going to start retreating out. 3-4-3, definitely dead. Fnatic, he do left to go. That's goal. Static Storm over the top of man. Almost immediately goes down, but mid-one, caught by the Doom. Now gets hit by the Slithering Crush. There's the trade-off, but Mushi still going forward. Ion Shell plus the BKB. Knows he can't fight this, though. Has to leave DJ behind as Liquid take 4 and will be able to now push forward into the tier 2.
Yeah, they focus everything on the Lycan, which is like, okay, but I think the bigger threat is still Fastest Death Prophet, who stays alive the entire fight. They don't get the Lycan AC Aura as well with the Darkseid Wall at the start. And as a result, it's going to be Fnatic who have to back off, give up Roshan, and trade a Lycan for 4 heroes. Not the ideal outcome for them.
And this is where the game really starts going the way of Liquid. We talked about how this 25 to 35 minute mark is going to be where Fnatic need to be the most careful in taking these team fights. Otherwise, one bad team fight leads into Liquid getting aggressive wards, starts taking some tier 2s, and goes from there. Now we see this Aegis should be able to allow Liquid to bully Fnatic even more once their ultimates are up.
He needs to, if not farms any more camps here.
Will be pulled back, blink away, and still going to be caught by this kinetic field and actually hit by the Slithering Crush. Now Mushi is still very, very tanky and has his BKB ready to go, but it may be a bit too late as now Kuro comes in. Sunstrike is actually going to turn this fight around and kills Mind Control. Now Mushi, all he has to do is actually get the escape. Kuro desperate to be able to stop this Blink Dagger. One more second, almost there. DJ with the interference, but still the glimpse back on Mushi will make sure he dies. Now they have a Meteor over the top, will be able to catch, but Tumbaman can't get the Culling Blade, but it's still enough to make it a trade-off. The Sven for the Lycan. And they also got Mind Control Slardar as well. That was a beautiful piece of work there from Fnatic. Nice rotations to be able to at least make that a lot more closer than it should have been.
I mean, that, end of the day, is a great trade for Fnatic, even though it was not the intent from Mushi getting caught out in the jungle. They turned a bad situation into a much better one.
They're looking for more. They know they have that numbers advantage. Fnatic are trying to push it. They've got the tier 2 and mid that was low, but VOTA managed to pick up the deny. They start blinking themselves forward, looking for any hero they can. Not going to catch Liquid with their pants down, though.
I really like the Solar Crest pickup on Kuro's Doom, getting items to help fight the Sven and help protect the faster Death Prophet or even the Lycan. Whoever gets initiated by the Sven is likely just going to melt because you don't have any real reliable BKB piercing disable, so having the Solar Crest will just help that one hero tank up a lot.
Speaking of our Sven, I really like the way that we're seeing Mushi really focus on pressing this to a late game build. Normally we'd see like maybe an Echo Saber into consideration or something like that, but not him. He went for the early Blink Dagger, which applied the pressure that you were talking about earlier, which allowed Fnatic to keep themselves spread, and then from that SNY, he's now focusing on the late game items. He's going to go for that Daedalus. He's going to pick up maybe that Satanic or something, something that allows him to tank through a little bit more, and he will be one of the hardest carries that we'll have in this game.
Oh yeah, and I don't really feel like there's an easy way for Lycan to itemize such that he can fight Mushi well in the late game. He can get a lot of armor, of course, but being able to actually deal damage through the Warcry, Sven is just, his DPS far exceeds the Lycan once you get to that 40-50 minute stage of the game, and perhaps we see something like an Abyssal Blade build out of Matumbaman to give him some control as well as a bit of extra sustain, but Sven is just going to be king of the late game.
He's just got to hope to challenge, I think, everybody but the Sven. Liquid are going to have to kite Mushi around as much as possible, but that's going to be dangerous because it's not just a single core Sven who's going to be carrying this game for Fnatic. They also have mid one who's level 16 with completed Ags. We're getting very close to having that AoE Deafening Blast that makes all the difference in these team fights, but Fnatic, they're actually going to have a very aggressive ward laid out. Their smoke is going to get popped, and Liquid have all the information they need, but Fnatic may still find the initiation. Mid one. Jump in, VOTA going to be able to find that Yule Scepter initiation onto DJ. Follow up, Mind Control jumps on a 3-4-3, but Liquid hesitant to jump in past this tier 2 tower.
They have to be. Diving into Darkseer is perhaps one of the biggest traps they could fall into right now.
Yeah.
If they want to try and initiate and get a kill, they've got to do it with just 1 or 2 heroes. They can't commit 3-4 heroes into a fight until they've got the Darkseer doomed or something.
particularly since this Aegis isn't all too important for Liquid. If they use that exorcism on the first life, you end up getting popped as a Death Prophet. Second life isn't going to mean much for you. Liquid are hoping that they're going to be able to catch someone out going for the typical ward or counter ward play near that cliff area. But Fnatic not going to be foolish enough to try that. They're just going to give up their tier 2 and give up their vision in exchange for keeping this
Fnatic
game.
here. This is perhaps a very risky place for Fnatic to go farming.
They're going to try and push out into the dire jungle. Liquid.
Mushi, he should know there's a gem because Jarek's just dewarded around that mid lane.
Maybe he can just straight out outrun it though. Jarex may actually show himself in mid. Mushi is kind of being surrounded right now by so many heroes on the map. Still
With a Sunstrike, he can get kills.
Yeah, he can, but Mid1 may not have the time for that Sunstrike as he's going to be silenced up. Oh, Yule Scepter goes down right as the silence does. Mid1 may still be able to make the escape. Another Yule Scepter, this time from Fada, slowing down Mid1's retreat, but he managed to get off the Ghost Walk. Now he gets away. Fada going to be jumped on by Mushi. The physical damage is cleaving through him, but they can't quite get the hold long enough, and Spirit Siphon is doing its work. Now the rest of Liquid come in from behind as Mushi's BKB is run out. The Centaur stun misses. And that means Mushi will be able to get away, but the rest of Fnatic cannot. That's going to be Mid1 as well as the Axe falling. And Tier 1 and Tier 2, I believe, are now forfeit. Liquid will take all the outer towers of Fnatic.
DJ misses the call on the Death Prophet when he initiates there because that was the big kill they needed. There's an well, actually the Aegis is actually gone now, but they killed Fata's Death Prophet and Exorcism is down. Fnatic can take that fight, but missing the call meant that Mushi could not reliably deal damage to him, and Fnatic now down 2, and this is the classic Liquid play. They win one fight near your base, and suddenly they're going to be in a position to break high ground.
35 minutes in, that danger zone has come to a peak now. As Liquid force a buyback out of Mid1, that hurts. That's going to stall out that refresher, which is kind of like the be-all, end-all of teamfight items for the Invoker. So Liquid have successfully stalled that one up, gotten a huge fall of gold for themselves as they now are 5k ahead, 5k experience as well. And they're feeling comfortable. They can even sit back, play some more farming games, and wait for the next Roshan, which will be Aegis and Cheese if they really want to. I would say they've kind of eased up the pressure of late game a bit with that play.
Yeah. They're going to just be a lot more comfortable knowing that they can hit that next item timing. They're going to have a BKB on the Cumberman. They'll have the Octarine Core on Death Prophet, so they get that lower cooldown in Exorcism, which means there's less room for Fnatic to play around that cooldown. And off for the next Roshan with Aegis and Cheese, they're going to be looking for another fight like that near the Fnatic base. You win a fight, you get that pick off on someone like an Invoker or a Sven at the start, and then suddenly you're breaking high ground.
Even some of the utility items were lovely pickups. I love Mind Control, for example, getting the Force Staff and the Slardar. That was awesome. Jarex has one of his own, and he could even go something like a Ghost Scepter if he feels like he's going to be the one targeted in the next 20 gold. Other than that, Liquid seem to be spread out, not really fearing that Fnatic are going to push into them, at least not for now. Fnatic do seem a bit scared, grouping up around that top lane.
And all these Force Staffs are pretty much to save Fat in a lot of ways. Like if he gets jumped on by an Axe with a Sven follow-up, you need to have some way to help him disengage the Sven, and that's the Force Staffs from Slaughter and more importantly the Disruptor, the tools to do that.
So Fnatic, they push out the top lane a decent amount, but Liquid not really caring about it. They are going to stay in this mid lane, keeping both mid and bottom pushed out. It means they have all the map control in the world because Fnatic are scared to actually head up to that top lane. But somebody still needs to protect that tier 3 tower eventually, unless they're going to let it just take some chip damage from the wave, and there it is, TP back from the Slardar. I like that choice just because that's one of the great things about Slardar, right? He can push out the wave. Okay, he doesn't have the greatest wave clear with just Slithering Crush, but at least he's super mobile. So if there is going to be a push out from Fnatic, Slardar can still respawn in probably about 5 to 10 seconds.
He's already sprinting back towards the Roshan pit area, it looks like, recognizing that Fnatic have been missing for a long time from the map. You have 2 wards right outside the Fnatic base, which means they're either sitting in their base as 5 doing nothing, which is obviously not the play. Well, now the Wolf actually scouts them out, or they're making a move with smoke out and being aggressive. So Liquid already in position to take a fight as 5 again.
Yeah, and you don't really care if that top lane is pushed out. Now you've stopped the momentum, and oh, Fada This is a dangerous position. He's actually going to be spotted out. Pops BKB. DJ misses the call, and now stuck inside the trees. The Shivas goes out. BKB's on both sides wasted. And now, whoa, blink for blink. Mind control. One step ahead of Mushi. Matumba Man's going to pop his ultimate. He wants to take this one. He's going to be doomed up. Glimpse back straight to the Static Storm. And that is a very dead carry from Fnatic. The rest of them trying to retreat. Matumba Man and Mind Control, speedy demons they are, but will not be able to find Fnatic in time to get another kill.
Yeah, Mushi just completely misreads the situation. The aggressive blink in after he'd already committed his BKB seemed completely unnecessary. It felt like, okay, you've just wasted Godstring BKB on Sven. Well, Godstring was still up. You don't have to fight. Mid lane, though.
Oh my goodness, they're trying to make it play, and they've got it too. Matumba Man is dead, and Jerix, having already used the glimpse, not going to be able to catch more. In fact, Fnatic, they actually think they could just go for this one. Force Staff over the cliff, calls for another Force Staff from Mind Control, gets it too. Stays away from DJ, who's now Static Stormed up. Going to be hit by Kuro by the Centaur stun, held in by the kinetic field. DJ just trying to save his own life at this point in time. Might be able to get more as they get the vacuum between the two. The paralyzing cast holding them in place. Sunstrike, not quite enough. Jerix going to be hit by one more paralyzing cast, but will be able to get the glimpse back on DJ to execute him. And 3-4-3's up next. Tornado hits at the right time, right as BKB falls, and they do manage to hold against Liquid and prevent that being too many pickoffs, and acts for the liking of Matumba Man. That is an okay trade-off there from Fnatic, but it would have been all the better if they just backed away after that kill.
Yeah, they got a bit greedy, chasing for more, and then the Force Staffs kick into play as Liquid get away from the Axe, who was hunting for follow-up kills. Top lane Mind Control does not have his BKB.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here. Cold Snap, Forge Spirits dealing a lot of damage here. He's actually low enough that he gets a little bit more with the Tornado, perhaps a Sunstrike or Meteor. No, mid one. He's actually scared. He doesn't put enough priority in that kill to risk his own life. So he just goes walks and gets the hell out of there. He will have a BKB soon. So in another scenario like that though, and he can make the full-on initiation and still be able to TP away, Liquid have very little to be able to stop that.
Things settle down a bit here as we'll see what Liquid's next big move is going to be. They are in the Roche pit already, and Fnatic have their whole team alive and the smoke at play. Darkseer, if he can get in there for a vacuum wall in time, could turn this fight in Fnatic's favor, but Roche will drop very fast.
Yeah, and one of the hard parts is Liquid's team, with that amp damage, they can actually take just 2 heroes inside the pit. So it doesn't even mean you have a positional advantage if you choose to fight into that Roshan area. If anything, it could be Liquid, especially Fauna there, up on the top side, able to come down as soon as the initiation comes in from Fnatic.
And I like the way Liquid use their scan there, just to protect themselves from the smoke initiation to the Roshan pit. And I think saving scans for moments like in the late game where you're going to go for a Roche is very, very important.
Now Liquid, they just have to deal with this pesky top push that is going to be coming more and more frequently now that we have that Boots of Travel from mid one, and he knows how important it is too. He hasn't been punished from one of these split pushes just yet, and he's going to continue to try and keep Liquid with one eye to the top lane.
Seeing an unconventional Doom item pick up the Aghanim Scepter coming out for Kuro. I think recognizing that often the Doom target is not someone that's being focused down. They're dooming a Sven just to take him out of the fight, prevent follow-up war cries, prevent him from being able to blink around.
Right.
Here come Fnatic though, smoking up, looking to engage.
Smoke across DJ. This is an important initiation. Will be able to get it to the Sunstrike over the top. Will be able to blow on Mind Control. They can just get a little bit more physical damage, but it's not quite enough. Maybe Sven, he comes forward, goes straight for Mushi. They actually pass off and will be able to help the Sven with the cheese. He gets the stun onto Mushi and they start targeting him down with the amplified damage. But Axe, he gets the call onto both of them. Here comes the cleave damage, but will it be enough? The amp damage is too much actually. And now Fada, he's cleaned up some of the heroes in the back and will be able to join the rest of his team to make sure DJ stays down 3 up from Fnatic. And that is going to be only for Disruptor and a cheese used. Mid one. He tries a little play there with a Sunstrike, but I know he's feeling desperate.
There's Exorcism. This is danger time with Aegis, Exorcism. Matumba Man can just go in the front lines. We'll have another shapeshift soon. Very difficult to defend.
EMP just to lead things off. Eul Scepter will be used by Fauna to dodge that one. And you may see this whole entire bottom lane of Rax just being taken out. The vacuum into the Stormbolt, not going to be fast enough. The BKB is used first. And now they turn and try and take out mid one. He's forced the Eul Scepter onto himself. Unlikely to be able to get away. The amp damage and the physical damage, too much combined. And yes, indeed, Liquid will take that first lane of Rax at bottom. And because Midwan died, they may even look for a little bit more, but that would be greedy. And you could already see they're not even sticking around for that range Rax necessarily. It will be taken out by Cardi. Oh, not quite. They get the Stormbolt just in time, but still. The important Rax, the melee Rax, has been taken out. And Fnatic feeling a little bit more worse for wear as they will continue to feel all the pressure of Liquid. They're not going to give them any free map control whatsoever, it seems.
Yeah. These fights just seem to be coming down to the initiation from Fnatic not getting that insta-kill. But go bottom.
Done.
Mind control.
Mind control pops his BKB, turns around, gets the amplify damage onto Mushi, which has been one of the biggest problematic spells for him, is he can't actually challenge the Lycan very well. Kuro comes in, throws down that Purge, will be enough for the Glimpse to be here, and 3-4-3 very likely to get taken out. Looks like the Wolves. Stormbolt actually right after the Stormbolt, you have to jump in. DJ managed to counter mind control, but it may not be enough. There's the vacuum pulled right back into the wall. Matumba Man gonna have to just take a ranged Rax and runs himself back through mid. A lot of things being used there. It looks like they still managed to get the Witch Doctor thanks to the extra movement speed. And the run down, but they're not able to go for the second lane of Rax. So even they just got a support hero. They blew an ultimate or two, but it's the important one of Fadas. It's going to be a big one, but he's going to be taken out almost immediately. Comboed from Fnatic, and now they're going to be able to get so much more as they vacuum back. Chasing Kuro with the cold snap. Choosing against it though, Midwan. You think he wanted to go, but he was just a little bit scared that Liquid would turn and they'd lose that fight.
Surprised he doesn't chase it. The BKB was wearing off, but that was kind of time to find some kills. You've just spawned up a death problem. That's the combo it feels like Fnatic be missing. They're getting the jump like a few times, like in their own jungle early where they get the blink initiation on the Slaughter, but the follow-up damage has just never quite been there with either Mushi or in that situation, Mid-1, to burst down that first hero at the start of a fight. Last time, Slaughter gets off the cheese. This time around, Death Prophet blowing up from full HP. That's exactly how Fnatic need to approach these engagements.
One of the hard things is it does seem the BKB defeats a lot of the initiation damage from Fnatic, so it almost seems like they have to try and force an initiation outside of the base, make Liquid blow those BKBs, and then try and extricate themselves from that team fight safely. But that just seems so unlikely because we've got the ever-present support of Jerix always being able to make sure you can't escape for free as long as he's got that line of sight. So Fnatic are actually going to be the ones pushing forward here. They've got 15 seconds to get damage on that tier 3 before Liquid are full power again.
Importantly, Aegis expires if Fnatic do want to take a fight and push, but with bottom lane coming in, I think they probably look back at their base and realize we've got to push this out. Lycan or even the Death Prophet with the Boots of Travel could just go for the backdoor play and take our mid lane of Rax with no glyph up, so respecting Liquid's push potential, and Fnatic will have to slow things down here, wait for their next opening.
Unfortunately, the progression of items just will not be there for Fnatic. It seems fast enough for this next team fight. I say that actually BK being bought out by DJ. Does this mean he's giving up his buyback potentially for the next team fight? An offensive item, it may be worth more having that rather than having 2 lives in a fight anyway. That being said, doesn't look like Midwan's going to get his refresher unless Liquid really slow this game down and don't push in for another 5 minutes. Sven has 3.7 on him. You may see another commitment by him into, I don't know, what would you commit for the Satanic at this point if you actually can get enough gold instead of having buyback, or do you want to hold on to buyback? Do you want to see a different item entirely?
His buyback in 2 minutes, the other, I guess, consideration for me is the Moon Shard, but
yeah,
you'd just be eating it. You haven't really got the item slots for it, so I think with Mushi, there's most likely buyback number 1, and then when you can afford buyback with Satanic, you play around that. He's the one hero who I think having buyback probably matters a lot more on than your initiating heroes like Darkseer and Axe doesn't quite matter as much.
Unfortunately, they don't have the other armor item either. They've got the Shivas on Darkseer, but they're still missing an AC, and that would certainly help out a lot.
They just go steal the Lycans, you know?
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Yeah.
I watched it last time. The Lycan illusion just died like to 1 Crypt Swarm though. Like they got the Lycan illusion off the wall, but didn't actually stay alive. It's something worth microing just because it is a free AC aura.
Fnatic will be playing purely on the high ground, it seems, waiting for Liquid to take the first step here to progress this game one way or another. It's been a very tight game, number one. Few mistakes by both sides, as Fnatic have had just a couple of misplays, such as Mushi's blink in at the bottom lane. But other than that, I would say it's been a pretty good game by them, holding their own against Liquid. We'll see whether or not they can continue to do so for the next 10 minutes, as Liquid may just be able to close out this game. They're waiting for the right kind of initiation, though. They're not trying to just full up 5-man through the mid lane, as we have talked about the danger of that Darkseer with the wall. Mushi is going to be jumped on. There goes the Doom. They managed to purge him as well. No BKB save from him, and that'll be a long one with Kuro keeping his vision on him, but still DJ managed to get the counter initiation. 3 BKB, 3 brawlers running through and just eviscerating the poor Witch Doctor, and they're going to find even more. Mid one forced to pop his BKB, tries to get out. Good deafening blast to buy him space, but will it be enough? The Eul Scepter onto mind control. They have the vision trying to keep up, but Mushi ends up going down. 100 seconds on the clock for him, and that could just be the end of it as Liquid finally get the kill.
His buyback will come off cooldown, so he does have one last hurrah here.
They have the Exorcism. Jerix, he sends one back, trying to get DJ, preventing him from making his Blink Dagger initiation. A second lane of Rax about to fall, but Liquid, off the buyback of the Sven, will retreat, and Fnatic will not be able to have any catch that prevents Liquid from escaping for free.
And Mushi just kind of off in no man's land again, very similar to what happened at bottom lane with the blink in. He's just a bit split apart from his own team, just trying to get some farm. He's not even pushing a lane out, and that's where I don't like that he's there trying to farm the Ancients, because you're not really helping your team strategically. He's just trying to get some item progression going for him, but he had plenty of farm and economy already, so completely unnecessary situation that he puts his team in, and this game gets a whole lot harder for Fnatic now that they don't have Mushi's buyback for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, certainly. Liquid could even wait until, Roshan up 20 seconds. So this is perfect for them. They can get Aegis, they can get Cheese, siege to the high ground, knowing that one kill on Sven is all it takes to end this game. And it's going to be all the pressure on Fnatic to somehow find an opening and be able to win a team fight that's stacked against them, just to be able to stay alive in this game number one.
Mid one, Lincoln Sphere over the Refresher. I'm not sure how much I like this. He's not actually a Doom target right now. I guess you can apply it to the Sven when he's initiating in, but chances of like a Lincoln's winning you the game to me is much lower than the Refresher pickup.
Right. Sometimes you have to just go the full offense option, particularly now with this Refresher on Ohio. We could see the double vacuum, double walls.
If anything, I would rather see a Refresher Invoker and the Lincolns on the Darkseer. Yeah, double wall is nice, like being able to get the second vacuum right away to help your Sven out, but the Invoker is that big late game playmaker. If you can get the double around the world Deafening Blast, and one of the big things I don't like about mid one skill build is maxing out both Wex as well as Exort means that AoE Deafening Blast isn't coming till much later. He still needs 2 more levels before he even gets it.
They are trying to control their own fate, though. Fnatic playing to win, not just to not lose. They're going to push out with this smoke and might be able to take a fight here onto Liquid, but mid-one's going to be spotted out first. They get off the BKB on the Doom. That's not going to be a good initiation, as now the Doom falls on his Sven. He's not going to be able to have much impact at all. It's just going to be left mid-one against 2, as both the Invoker as well as the poor Axe are just left out in the cold, it seems. The rest of Fnatic trying to retreat, perhaps holding on to just the buyback saves, but it seems like neither one of those heroes have them.
Kuro's just trying to chase and keep reapplying the Doom onto Mushi, who's desperately trying to get back to his fountain. Kuro gets another purge off.
Oh, Mushi, he just wants to get back, but now the Glimpse is also going to be able to catch him. He'll never be able to escape from this Doom, as it stays on him all the way through until his death, and DJ will call it for his team. Liquid take game number 1.
I mean, Kuro's Axe pickup on the Doom, chasing down Mushi. That was the third fight in a row where I've just watched him completely take Mushi out of the picture. As a 4-position support, when you can negate the impact of your opposing team's super carry Sven, you're getting a lot of value out of that Doom. That is something we just haven't seen from most Doom picks in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely the interesting, Aghanim's was very effective in this regard, and it seemed like Fnatic struggled to be able to find a way to be able to counter it. Mushi, certainly perhaps with the pressure of the stage here in this elimination match, making some unfortunate misplays. Fnatic going to need to clean up their game a whole lot more They want to be able to take on the tournament favorites of Team Liquid in game number 2.
Yeah, Team Liquid just played the team fight so well. The execution from Kuro was great. Vata on the Death Prophet was just getting tons of damage out. You had the Lycan with a harder Tarrasque by the end. And Liquid just did everything they needed to do.
Yeah, absolute control. It looked a little bit shaky, that 25 to 35. They didn't quite find as many openings, and then they got that one where they were able to force the buyback on mid one, and then eased up so much pressure. They just took control of the map. They continued to farm a little bit more efficiently in Fnatic and built that over and over and over. So game number 1, not the cleanest win in the world for Team Liquid. Fnatic did have some shining moments, but they're going to need a whole lot more if they hope to be able to take game number 2. We'll see whether or not our analysts think that Fnatic can make this an even series.
Yes, thank you very much, Capitalist, in the commentary booth. We will indeed check in with our erstwhile panelists as the teams go off for their break in between games 1 and 2. Liquid taking a first game, but it was a little bit scrappy in places, Purge. It wasn't the cleanest of games for Liquid.
I think Liquid was fairly clean. They had a couple mistakes, but I thought Fnatic played a lot sloppier, personally. 3-4-3 was out of position in a lot of cases where the rest of Fnatic was hiding in the trees, and the fight could have gone well if he didn't die at the start. I mean, he had no items at the end. It was like Tranquil Boots, Wand. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. I think Fnatic played relatively even there. That game was absolutely dead even at the 30-minute mark. It was just, we've talked so many times about the trades by Liquid. At 16 minutes, Mushi's taking, I believe it was a quad, maybe even a quint stack of Ancients. Liquid, rather than contesting, as we saw some big plays in the previous series, chooses to go ahead and take the Roche, get the Aegis on the Lycan. 4 minutes later, they have a huge fight mid lane and get the ultra kill on Fata's Death Prophet. And then it was really that, I'm sure we'll see this in the highlight, but it was really that 33-minute fight where they just took over the game.
Whoa, you just disagreed with me. You didn't tell me one thing that they did that was them executing poorly. Other than that, they chose to take a Roche instead of Ancients, and then you said with the Roche, they got an ultra kill.
No, what I'm saying is this was a very close game. This is much closer than the other games that I've seen from Liquid throughout this tournament. I think Fnatic really did challenge them, and if their execution in the actual team fights had been just a little bit better, I think they had a chance to win this game.
You still didn't say the ways that Liquid failed to execute. Like, I get it that the game was close. I totally understand